Rescue efforts are still unfolding across Florida after Hurricane Milton unleashed major flooding. This right here is new video from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Crews are boating now through city streets looking for people needing any help. Ivan Rodriguez has more on the storm's aftermath and cleanup ahead.
First Helene and then Milton. Floridians dealt a 1-2 punch by major hurricanes, now trying to pick up the pieces.
Families today across the state of Florida are waking up and figuring out how they're going to start to take those steps onto the long road to recovery.
A once-in-a-thousand-year rain event flooding homes in areas that weren't expected to flood.
It was terrible. The water was so cold.
The chairs were just floating, couches were floating, everything was floating.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office evacuating residents still trapped by high floodwaters Friday. On the West Coast in Clearwater, entire lives upended by flooding in a non-evacuation zone.
These are folks who didn't have much and they've lost everything.
While on the East Coast,
it was like a train just coming through.
Communities flattened by an unprecedented rash of tornadoes.
Never have I experienced damage or the amount of tornadoes that came through this area.
Authorities say the death toll is expected to rise as search, rescue, and recovery efforts continue.
We're now in the period where you have fatalities that are preventable. We have had fatalities because of interaction with downed power lines and water. We are seeing hazards that are still there.
Floridians now bracing for the long journey ahead.
Everything I had there is no good. Thank God I have flood insurance, but it's going to be a long time before we can come back.
Well, here at home, dozens of Washingtonians are on the ground in the areas most devastated by the hurricane. The Red Cross says this is a major undertaking that will continue for weeks to come. King 5's Drew Andre is at SeaTac Airport, where more relief teams are heading out.
Well, some of the Red Cross volunteers and the local CEO of the Red Cross hopped on flights this morning headed to Florida. Right now, there are about 50 members of the Red Cross from Washington that are spread out in these areas that are most impacted. That's anywhere from Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia too. And there are more that right now are packing their bags and getting ready to head out by the end of the week. Earlier this week, we were seeing that too. There's already local firefighters, canine search teams, and doctors from around Western Washington sent to areas that are devastated by Milton, and plenty still assisting from the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Red Cross volunteers will be at shelters providing food and other resources for the thousands in need. This morning, I spoke to the CEO of the Northwest region of the Red Cross before she got on a flight to Florida.
We're going to need support in numbers that we haven't seen in years, because these are really, really big back-to-back storms, creating a lot of loss and a lot of need in the Southeast.
And they need a lot of volunteers too, so you can actually sign up right now, and in just a matter of days you get trained and onboarded, and then will be deployed out to the Southeast for what they're doing is largely 2-week deployments. What else can you do? Well, the Red Cross is also actively fundraising, and they're also looking for blood to be donated because there are hundreds of blood drives that are canceled on the East Coast, so they need to make up for that. Reporting from SeaTac, Drew Andre, King 5 News.
And for a link to the Red Cross website, you can text the word HELP to the number on your screen. It's 206-448-4545.